I don't know if I saw that one.
Did you? Okay. Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I didn't know that ended cold because I don't know that song whatsoever. That's a band called Refused and Electra. Troy Kwan's picking the songs to start the show this week.
Yeah, Travis helped me out with that one too. That's a good one. That band Refused they are amazing.
Right. I've never heard of them.
They were they put out a record in the 90s, probably like 98. It's called The Shape of Punk to Come.
I think it was before 98.
97.
Because that was their first song in 17 years.
Yeah, that'd be 17 years, wouldn't it?
Would it be? Oh,
Yeah, 98 is now 17 years ago.
I don't think like that. Yeah, I guess the 98, yeah.
But they put out this record and...
They had a record before that, but...
That one didn't do much.
No.
But then The Shape of Punk to Come was an amazing record. They had a song on there called New Noise that everybody freaks out about.
I think it was in like a Tony Hawk video game at some point.
Which song did the Home of Rock and Roll play off that album?
I don't think anything.
Yeah, the Home of Rock and Roll probably
The Home of Rock and Roll blew off Refused?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that's brand new music, first music in 17 years from that band.
Wow.
So that's pretty important. And
you're right.
they're on tour with Faith No More this summer, which is a great show.
There's that Faith No More again.
Then we're going to the show, so you'll get this chance to see Refused.
All right,
for
I'll
yourself.
check out Refused. We'll get there early. We'll check out Refused. We'll do a little Faith No More, right?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Take a few hits from your G-Pen.
G-Pen, that's right.
And get the fuck out of there, right?
We'll get you ripped up.
What was that other thing you were talking about? A documentary?
Yeah, there's a really cool documentary. It's on Noisy, which is the music division of Vice.
Okay.
About a New York City hardcore band called Judge, and they were around in like the late 80s, early 90s, and basically they kind of started the militant straight edge movement. So
what is that?
Straight edge is no drugs, no alcohol.
Oh no, I know straight edge, but what do you mean the militant?
The militant side was like, if you do this, we're going to kick your fucking ass.
Sick.
So
Sick?
Yeah.
Why is that sick?
It's dope.
So they really were and then a lot of bands like Earth Crisis and a bunch of other bands sort of followed in their footsteps, but Judge was really important, and then their shows just became so violent that the singer is like, this is not what I wanted to do, and he completely broke up the band and just disappeared. And there's just kind of like, there's been a lot of like rumors like, what happened to this guy? And so Noisy did a documentary on this guy, and the documentary is awesome. It comes in 4 parts. There's 3 out. But the singer, whose name is Mike, and they call, because he's in the band Judge, they call him Mike Judge. He's actually a huge fan of both you guys and a huge fan of the show. And I tweeted him, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm a big fan of the show. So shout out to Mike Judge.
Did he mean it when he said he was a big fan of the show?
Oh, yeah.
Or was he just saying it? Some people just say that.
He's been listening for years.
Okay.
I wish Mike Judge from MTV was a fan of the show.
That would be much more helpful. It's called There Will Be Quiet?
Yes.
And it's on YouTube. That's nice. I could do that.
Yeah.
I can knock that back.
How come they beat up people who aren't straight edge?
Well, it just...
And why would you admit you're straight edge at one of those shows?
Well, no. If you're straight edge, you don't get beaten up. If you're not straight edge, then you get beaten up.
Oh, okay.
It's militant straight edge.
All right, that would make it a lot easier.
Like if you're like, hey, anybody want a beer? They're like, kick that guy's fucking ass.
Yeah, or like outside smoking, you know what I mean? But I think it was, I don't
Are
think
they just hanging around the bar area, waiting for someone to order a beer?
Yeah,
Oh my God, that would be so
Just beat
stressful.
him down.
That better be a fucking O'Doul's.
Right.
Yeah. I think the idea is more so like, it was just in his lyrics. He really wasn't, and that's what people interpreted those lyrics as. I don't think he really meant for people to go out and beat them up. I mean, I can't speak for him, but that's sort of what I got out of it.
Okay.
They were like, hey, you want to go outside and have a cigarette? And they were like, what? And they just kick him in the face.
But then there was bands that really kind of played off of that. A band called Earth Crisis. One of my friends went to the show and he wore a fur coat because these guys are all vegan, and he stage dived with a fur coat, and guys from the band jumped down and kicked his ass.
God, what the hell?
They're still around, right?
They're still around. Yeah, they're
So they got back together, or
Judge. Yes, yes,
Okay.
they got back together.
How long ago?
Like 2 years ago.
Right.
But they broke up, I want to say 1990, 91, somewhere around there.
Oh, no kidding.
So they've been gone that long. And then a lot of rumors circulated about this guy, Mike Judge. They said, like, he just fell off. He joined a motorcycle gang. He was, like, this badass dude. It was sort of like he was sort of like a legendary guy in the hardcore scene that nobody knew where he went. But yeah, he's from New Jersey, and he's been a big fan of you guys for many years. So
now I got to watch the documentary. What's the name of the documentary one more time?
There will be quiet.
There Will Be Quiet. The story of Judge, and it's on YouTube. And then we might have to get the guy in now.
Yeah, you should. That would be awesome. And you know who else would be cool to talk to him, too, would be Jamie Josta. because
Right.
Jamie grew up in that scene. So
Yeah, Jamie was writing me yesterday. I said, come on back and do more radio with us. He was great.
yeah,
He was absolutely great.
I think that'd be a really cool show for the people that listen to hardcore.
Right. All right. I don't know. I don't know that world.
No, it's
whatsoever.
cool. That's why we'll help you out. But do you want me to? You said something online on Twitter about picking out songs for the rest of the week.
Yeah, it's 2 more shows. You can pick 2 more songs, can't you?
Yeah, of course
Are
I
you
can.
panicking or something?
No, I just don't want to do anything too crazy because the stuff that I
Whatever.
really like is
No,
like
go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
really
It's
Yeah.
It's 3 stupid minutes before the show. Who cares?
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Do next week, too.
because if that's the case, I'm going in with some Dillinger Escape Plan. It's just gonna fry people's face in the morning.
Fly people's face.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Maybe tomorrow we'll do some 43% burnt.
Are you a little too old for this?
No, I grew up. This is what I grew up with.
Or you're getting a little too old for this to talk about frying people's faces.
You're only as old as you feel.
That's
Attaboy,
right.
Sam. Good point.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, but when
That's been my philosophy for a long time.
But you attacked me.
Well, you have kind of an older feel.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So Dillinger Escape Plan tomorrow. Then is that cool?
Whatever you want to do, Troy.
All right.
It's your week to pick music.
Awesome.
Just fucking go with it.
All right, man.
At least have a story behind it. I mean, that was kind of interesting. You just turned me on to a documentary I would have never watched on my own.
Yeah, you'll like. Trust me, you'll like it. And like I said, it's 3 parts. So like, first part's like 10 minutes. So it's easy to get through.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Right on. Let's go to Robert in Brooklyn. Robert.
Hey, good morning, Ope. How's everything?
We're doing all right, buddy. What's up?
Hey, I was just wondering if we could get your thoughts and the listeners' thoughts on what the hell is going on in Baltimore, because that's the pure definition of anarchy of what's going on.
Well, it's quite the scene down there in Baltimore. I think there's a lot of people taking advantage of the fact that people want to protest about the police thing. And it's now completely out of control. I think the mayor of Baltimore sucks and doesn't even know how to control. I think it's a she, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a she, and she doesn't even know how to control her own fucking city. She talks about having a curfew that's going to start tonight when they should have started the curfew last night. And then people on CNN, I guess there's a woman, a talking head on CNN, that was defending the Baltimore mayor because she knows the mayor, saying, look, you can't just say we're going to have a curfew tonight because people need to plan for this. And then there were other people on CNN arguing the point that with social media and everything else, you could get the word out pretty quickly and easily, and that they should have had a curfew last night. Not wait a whole day when obviously this whole thing was boiling all day long in Baltimore.
Yeah, and they said it was blowing up all over social media during school hours. They're getting ready to do this purge, and police did nothing.
No, the police did not do anything. So, and I'll never understand the fucking up your own city, your own town, your own neighborhood. I'll never understand that.
Right, you don't shit where you eat.
They have a video right now of CVS burning on CNN from yesterday. They just destroyed that CVS. That's people's jobs in that neighborhood. I mean, you're not helping the people in your neighborhood.
The important thing, I think, though, is that the Crips and the Bloods are actually going to help each other. Which
Is that
really
true, you
nice.
think?
Yeah, the Nation of Islam. It's a marvelous organization. Got these 2 youth groups together, and they're going to work together to strengthen the community. So I think that's one positive we can take out of it.
Right. Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah, Shuby's right. They did mention faith leaders that were going to go in there and speak to the people because they have issues with the cops. Cops paid over $500,000 in the past 6 months for I don't know, being over aggressive or something like that. So, I mean, there is an issue there.
I just think if these 2 youth groups can get together and work together to strengthen the community, local religious leaders, everything's going to work out. So I feel very upbeat about that.
I don't know what the fuck you do down there in Baltimore. I don't know what the fuck you do. I think, a majority of these people that are jumping up and down in this cop car from the video yesterday, I don't think they're give a fuck about the issue at hand, and they're just kind of opportunists. They're not actually trying to. These same people are not trying to, protest about the police situation down there.
Yeah, maybe 10% of them actually know the kid's name who got killed, and they still don't even know the whole truth behind that one.
It's Too bad. I mean, if you're trying to get the community on your side, I don't know. I don't see people going, yeah, now we got to join you because of what they're seeing on TV the last 24 hours.
Was
I don't
that
get
kid
it.
really crying for medical? Like, their kid, he's a guy who's dealing drugs, but or apparently.
He has quite the record.
Was he yelling for medical help or something? Like he fell or he was fucked up? And they probably thought he was just bullshitting, like, not really hurt.
Right.
And asking for medical help.
Right. I've heard that. Obviously, it's not good what happened to that. It's obviously not good what happened to that kid, but we don't know much.
He said 80% of his spine was severed. How is that even possible?
Maybe when they were tackling, they might have knocked him into a parked car, or maybe the guy did a flying tackle and smashed him into something. I mean, I have no idea.
Or it happened in the van on the way to the police station. I don't know. I mean, they're still gathering info.
I think it happened outside because they were
You think?
they were dragging him to the police. It looked like they were dragging him to the car. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to have your spine severed 80%, that's not good. That is absolutely not good. So it doesn't sound good for the cops on this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, damn shame.
Unless it just happened during the arrest. Unless literally they just tackled the guy too rough and threw him against something.
Right.
While he was running, and he just broke his back.
And then he just kind of fell the wrong way, which is possible.
They can't say he did it to himself, though. That's kind of a bad explanation.
Did you see? There's a couple videos out there of mamas, dragging their kids out of the melee. Did you see any of those, Robert?
Oh yeah, actually, there was a couple of people periscoping from right in the middle of it, and I was watching a couple of those, and literally, it sounds like it was all outsiders, not neighborhood people that would just come in and being opportunistic. But
Is that a mother right there, that yellow thing?
Yeah, this is the one that's going everywhere. And then I saw another one when everyone was jumping up and down in that police car. If you watch closely, there's a mom that grabs her son. I'm assuming it's her son. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it's her nephew or something, whatever. And just drags him out of the situation, and she's beating the shit out of him. Like, you get your ass home. What the fuck are you doing? It was kind of funny. I mean, it was, it's a tragic situation that's going on down there, but that part of it kind of made me chuckle a little bit. Yeah, here's the one with the mom in the yellow shirt and the yellow, what is it, a little jacket or something as well. She's just fucking slapping him across his head, pushing him out of the situation. Pretty much saying, get your ass home. What the fuck are you doing?
How embarrassing.
Yeah. and he's like, oh, come on, Mom. And his face is covered because he doesn't want to be identified.
Oh, how embarrassing.
He's humiliated.
Your mother beating you out of a protest.
Right, beating you out of a fucking... Oh, he's so mad, but he knows he can't hit his mom back. He's got his hood up. He was all ready to do some of that looting and, and destroy something.
It's obvious they needed more parents like that.
Yeah.
Well, that would help. Yes, it would.
Did we ever watch the video of the guy who's telling the gangs not to come for his son? We did watch that, right? There's a black father. He's smacking his son.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We absolutely
That's what
did.
that reminded me
Yes.
of.
Yes. Anything else, Robert?
No, that's it. You guys have a good day.
All right, buddy.
But she shouldn't hit. I in all honesty, hitting is just wrong. That doesn't send the right message. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right.
It's the wrong message to send.
Let's go to Tim in Baltimore. Tim.
Good morning, fellers.
Good morning.
All right, so here's the deal. There's also a gang called the Black Gorilla Family that are in Baltimore.
They are also part of the coalition. I apologize for forgetting them. The BGF, all three of those youth organizations are going to be helpful to the community.
Yeah, they're very helpful. I mean, the BGF was involved with the Baltimore City Police for a while, getting their female officers pregnant at the prison systems down here. And
were they really banging the girls in jail, the fucking guards?
Yeah, if you look up the story, I think it was 2 police officers at the Baltimore City Detention Center got pregnant from members of the BGF.
Oh, wow. No kidding.
And now they're joined up with the Bloods and Crips, and my aunt is a parole officer, and she actually received a phone call last night from a member who was in the Bloods telling her that she is safe.
That's just wonderful. So what?
Yeah,
the gangs are getting together to take out cops or something like that?
Yeah, basically.
Is this a real threat? They're saying this is a real threat?
Yep.
They're saying that this is a legitimate threat. I can tweet you guys the release that the Baltimore County Police or Baltimore City Police put out yesterday.
What do they call it? A credible threat, right?
Yeah, basically saying that it is a complete credible threat, and that they've also got purge groups that are setting up. They've been posting on social media saying that they're going to hit other counties today at 3:30.
Yeah, they're trying to move into other neighborhoods. They're going to try to do that today. Because the National Guard can't. How many people are part of the National Guard when they call in the National Guard, and how much of an area can they actually protect?
They've called in 5,000 National Guard troop was the last I heard last night.
Right.
So they've called in 5,000 National Guard troop. I heard on the police scanner last night that they had about 50 paddy wagons. Pretty much every paddy wagon in the state of Maryland was deployed to Baltimore City last night. They had all the county cops were coming in to relieve the city cops throughout the night. They were lighting buildings on fire. They let a $16 million retirement center that was in the process of being built on fire.
See, that's where the community leaders got to fucking get control of the situation. That building they burned down yesterday was to help the community and turn it around a little bit. What are you doing to your own neighborhood? It's stupid.
Exactly, and I mean they did have members like Jim was saying, the Muslim Brotherhood. They were standing in front of buildings yesterday, and they were ripping kids out of stores. So I give them a little bit of credit.
Right.
But they should have acted sooner.
Yeah.
It should have never escalated to this point. And our mayor is a coward. When the news conferences and the protests were happening on Saturday and this all started, she left with she was not seen all day. But when she came back to the podium that night, she had a brand new hairdo.
Oh, good.
No kidding.
What was I right about, sir? Sarah, what was I right about?
What was Jimmy right about there, Tim?
What was that?
What was I right about? You said I was right about something.
I'm sorry. I'm breaking up. Slubbo, you'll have a great day.
Okay, buddy.
All right. Yeah, she does not have control of the situation whatsoever. A bunch of people saying that she looks like an outsider in her own city. So, let's say hi to Brian in Massachusetts. Brian.
Hey, it's Brian. But anyway, I was wondering what Jimmy meant by his tweet. This whole Baltimore thing got me thinking.
Honestly, that was just one of those stupid things people say that was so annoying to me.
I thought you wanted to go get some peppers or something.
It got me thinking.
Just made me think, sir.
Are we going to fall off the wagon?
Oh, sir, come on with the fucking double talk.
Come back to Boston, Jimmy!
Boston brand muffins.
All right there, Brian. Thank you for that.
All right.
That whole area down there is just a horrible fucking shithole.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I love the downtown, that nice little area they have, the inner harbor. It's such a delight to have seafood.
It's wonderful.
Oh, the food is to die for.
Is that the only part of Baltimore that's nice? That and Camden Yards is kind of in a crappy neighborhood too, right?
Yeah, it's right by the highway, I think.
They had to cancel the game last night.
The Oriole game. Yeah, I think that was just begging for.
That was more tragic than anything. That they're canceling baseball games. My God, can't do that.
Yeah, that's just a mess.
They're saying Baltimore caught off guard. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
How did they not see this coming? After that happened, they should have known. You better get ready because this is happening all over the country.
It was percolating all day yesterday. That's the point here. And they just allowed it to go down. They should have had the curfew last night immediately. And I don't know how quickly you could call in the National Guard, but obviously not quick enough. And now they know the National Guard is coming into the area, so there's rumors they're going to move into other neighborhoods tonight and cause some problems.
Here's my advice to any rioters. Don't start your own neighborhood. You start. That's why in L.A. they ripped up their own neighborhoods. When they were going to Beverly Hills, the cops blocked the way. They were not getting into Beverly Hills.
Right.
They just weren't doing it.
They're not going to allow that.
They wouldn't allow them to go to other neighborhoods. The cops will block those other neighborhoods.
Sure.
But that's where you got to start.
Because they see it coming once you destroy your own thing.
Yeah, you don't wreck your own area and then go, where to now, fellas?
Right.
What, do you think they're not going to be ready for that?
Right.
I'm not encouraging, not that they're listening to this show, but imagine this was the big show in Baltimore.
What's Jim say we should do next?
That just doesn't seem smart. Do we have the video of the young black man in Baltimore complaining to the news about the protesters destroying their own block?
Oh, yeah.
This was a biggie yesterday. make this go viral, someone wrote. All right.
I understand, yeah, somebody died due to police hands, but this is not how you stay to protest. Fuck the police. But that's not right, though. That ain't right, though. It be fuck the police, but that's on our block, though, bruh. Now we destroying our homes. Now we destroying our community. For what? For what? If you want to protest, if you want to make a voice, if you want to stand up, do it the right way. Get your local legislators, get your religious leaders, and let's sit down and talk about this.
Good for that young man. We need more young men like that.
Yeah,
speaking up.
His ideas also stink, though. That's not going to work. Get your local religious leaders.
Of course not. Of course
community
not.
leaders. But a bunch of dreck.
Yeah, of course not.
Whoever said that the cops will occasionally leave those cars out just for the guys was really a smart point. One of the callers said that.
Right.
I hate to give credit to a caller. I wish I had thought of that. But what a brilliant move by the police if they do that. Like, leave a few cars around. Like, this is a focal point. You can just fucking kick the shit out of this.
And they should tell the protesters after the fact, look, we were going to jump that car. It was on its last fucking leg.
Yeah.
So, you know, it doesn't bother us today.
It's riot bait.
Rob on Long Island. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, good morning, all. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Hello, Rob.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I was wanted to see if you guys saw that video online where the firefighters were putting out one of the fires in Baltimore, and they had video of the young black man coming up with his face covered, stabbing the hose line and compromising the hose.
Yeah, I saw that. I absolutely saw that. They were talking about that a lot yesterday. Why would you do that in your own fucking neighborhood? I mean, I need one person to call in and explain that to me, please.
That's actually,
it's a CVS, which is employs a bunch of people. It's a nice looking store in a neighborhood that looks kind of shitty in general. They set it on fire. They're looting the fucking thing, and now you're cutting the holes in the hose so they can't put the fire out. That is just, I will never understand that. That is ridiculous.
I don't know what goes through their heads, but as a firefighter myself, that should be attempted murder on firefighters because you can get people killed in those buildings.
Well, sure. When you find the people that did it, I don't even know if they'll ever find the people that cut the hose.
No. None of these people will be found.
Let's say hi to Bobby in Virginia. Bobby.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up?
Just for the record, I want to say I don't agree with all the bullshit violence that's going on. However, what are you supposed to do? They're reacting to a violent act originally, so it's just a negative reaction to a negative problem that started. So,
yeah, but it's almost
what is the right way?
Yeah, there's no violence is right, but when you start ripping up your own stuff, it's like when they go, if they kick the shit out of a cop car, I kind of get it. You're mad at the cops,
right?
But it's when you start when you're burning a retirement community where your older relatives are going to live. It's like such a thing in your own area. It's not like why are people being violent? It's why are they ripping up their own things that help them and like literally down the street.
Again, though, so what is the right way to handle this? A silent protest? I mean, what do you
go to police headquarters and if you want to rip? I'm not saying they should flip cop cars over, but at least if you're mad at the cops and you're flipping cop cars over, I understand why you're going towards people who you're mad at.
Right. So the right way is not destroying your own fucking neighborhood. And
doesn't make sense.
And I don't think the right way. We all learned 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Understand.
And what about Martin Luther King and what he said back in the day? A riot is the language of the unheard. No one's going to fucking support you guys. Or I shouldn't say you guys. I mean you guys in Baltimore. No, I don't mean it like that, Bobby. I apologize. But
no, I'm joking.
But, I mean, no one's going to support your cause when they see you destroying the fucking neighborhood.
Agreed.
And it's not the majority of the people destroying the neighborhood, by the way. I'm sure there's a lot of locals that are fucking pissed off today that they just destroyed their area.
Well, another big thing. So you got this guy on Fox News this morning that I was listening. He lives in the neighborhood, and all he could say is, "Man, they sure is angry. They angry." Well, what do you feel about it? Oh, I feel like they angry, man. Come on now, dude. Speak your mind. So enough. There's not enough people in the community speaking their mind on how this is fucked up and completely fucked their town for economy and money, and it's bullshit.
Not that it was in good shape before, though.
Of course.
You guys are very listened to, and I think if you got the word out, hey, don't do this, here's the right thing to do. This is what's going to make a beanie, you know? So I think you guys should get the word out to what the right way is.
Well, the right way is not destroying your own neighborhood. I'll never understand that. It doesn't affect me whatsoever because I'm not going to go in that area anytime soon. But the people that live there and work there, they're fucking, bummed out today. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't have a job to go to today.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't just the CVS. There was a whole bunch of businesses that were, I would call it temporarily destroyed because I'm sure a few will build it back up. But those people aren't working anytime soon.
Not even destroyed, but the curfew fucks up people's work too.
I'll tell you.
Not only, it's horrible.
You know what? Hold on, by one more thing, like just what you're saying about the businesses. One problem with wrecking businesses like this, because a lot of people say, why don't these businesses want to go to the ghetto or black neighborhoods or bad neighborhoods?
Right.
One of the reasons these businesses are scared is because when they go into a neighborhood and something like this happens, they are not treated like, hey man, these guys came into this area as a show. I mean, they want to make money, but they're not avoiding the neighborhood. Like, you get Starbucks in a lot of these bad areas, and it's like you start burning Starbucks down, and they're going to go, well, every time we put one in a bad area, we're the first things they target.
Exactly.
And we're employing people who live here. We're treating people here the same way we treat people in any other part of the country. Like, we're just doing business. So that's where it's kind of stupid and self-destructive.
Yeah, Jimmy made the point. I mean,
it's easy.
If you're a more established and a bigger business, why the fuck would you ever move into this area? Why the fuck would CVS ever rebuild that store? Why would they do that?
Right, and it's only going to hurt people that live there that have to suffer through that.
Sorry, I got to add this point. And then, fast forward a year or two, and we not forget about this, but people have moved on from what happened in Baltimore yesterday. And then CVS decides not to, rebuild their store. Now they're looked at like, what's the problem with CVS? What are they, racist? They don't want to be in our neighborhoods?
Right. No, agreed fully. That was the point I was going to make as well.
Oh, okay.
So I agree with that fully. So I do want to say on a whole different note, all right, Chip, what are you going to do? What can Chip do to fix this?
I'm going to go down there and do a benefit concert with a lot of jokes and humor. Everybody will crack up.
Hey, I'm punching out. You guys look good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Bobby in Virginia.
And the answer from people who live there would probably be like, well, we have nothing. We feel like nobody, we can't get anything done. It doesn't matter because we get treated terribly and we're broke, so who cares? They look at it like we're hopeless, so what's the difference?
Well, they got a bunch of shitty people in their neighborhood, and they got to figure out how to fucking keep them under control, period. I think the majority of the people are not doing what you saw last night on TV. That is a fact. And I don't think that the majority of the people that were jumping up and down on the police cars and setting CVS on fire and looting were actual protesters that care about the issue as far as trying to make a change.
And they need to get an explanation from the cops as to why that guy died. Like, if there was a legit explanation, but it's like he threw himself against the van is kind of rough, too. That's a rough one. And cops have to be a little, like, when the guy's yelling for medical attention, if that's what's happened, you got to get a medical attention, especially looking at the videos of this guy getting shot in the back. It's like, things are very tense.
Right.
Like, yeah, you can't just drag a guy by the, you know what I mean? Like, get the guy a fucking ambulance.
The leadership
or maybe
down
that'd
there,
be worse. I don't know.
I agree with you. The leadership down there is very, very shitty. They know it's a intense situation, so they got to get the info out to the people sooner than later. But they're like, we're still investigating and we're gathering our facts and this and that. Well, fuck you. Time is of the essence here.
Yeah.
You got to come forward and say fucking something. Figure out exactly why this guy's spine was severed 80%. Chris in Baltimore, what's up?
Yo, what's going on, man? I'm hearing you guys, and you're saying, you shouldn't burn your own neighborhood and all that blah blah. And I get it, and it does look terrible. I totally understand that. However, this is a problem that's festering, and it's been growing for years. And I don't mean 5, 6 years. I'm talking 30, 40 fucking years of cops literally treating black people all over the country, but we're just going to talk about Baltimore, treating black people like fourth type citizens, like we're animals. Like the rules do not exist for us. None of that shit that you see in the Constitution. You have the right for liberty and all this. Boy, it does not apply to us and they treat us like shit.
Can I ask you a question, a legit question? And this is like a real question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think?
Jimmy, you're super cool, dude. I like your.
Thank you, mister.
I like your stand-up routine. Yeah.
Thank you. What do you think is the right way to do? Like, I was talking about, there's a comedian named Mike at the Comedy Cellar. We were talking about it. And a lot of these white cops they go into these neighborhoods where they didn't grow up, and they're, I think, legitimately afraid to be in these neighborhoods because they're tough areas. So the cops act a little fucked up because they're afraid to be in the neighborhood. But if you only get guys who grew up in that neighborhood, like black guys in a black neighborhood, they start complaining, and they go, "How come the white guys get all the cushy jobs in the nice areas?" And then they demand to be taken out of these neighborhoods. So what do you think? Because you have to be honest, man. Cops in those neighborhoods, even though some of them are fucked up to the citizens, some of those citizens are kind of rough, and if you're just a cop who's Mr. Nice Guy, you're going to get trampled.
And you're 100% right. Some of those cops are, or I'm sorry, a lot of those people in those neighborhoods are a little bit rough. But let me tell you this. I live about 25 miles outside of Baltimore in a very nice neighborhood. I think I'm like the only black guy, within 3 miles of where I live. If I got pulled over by a cop in my neighborhood, nothing would happen to me. These cops are cool. Not that they're cool, but they treat me like a normal person because it's a nice community. However, if you go to Baltimore in downtown where they're burning shit up, you can't say what you just said. Well, the people there are so fucked up that the cops are fucked up too. If I go there and I get pulled over, I am going to be treated like a piece of dirt. It's the cops too. It's not just the people. It's both.
Chris, why do you live in the good?
And they're supposed to protect and serve, but they don't.
Right.
You guys see them as Batman. We don't. We see the cops as some evil villain. But go ahead. You asked me why do I live in a nice neighborhood?
Yeah, and did you used to live in a?
Why would I live in the hood? Jay-Z lives in France. He doesn't live in March. Why would I live in the hood?
Well, I think it's important to the conversation here. Did you ever? No, it's not really that silly. Because what I'm getting at is, did you used to live in a did you used to live in a bad neighborhood?
I didn't live down there. My parents are from that area.
Okay, so what you said is, you're not crazy, or whatever. You wouldn't live in one of those neighborhoods. So, wouldn't you assume then that there's a lot of crime in those neighborhoods, and that's one reason why you wouldn't want to live in those areas?
I would say that there's a lot of crime in those neighborhoods.
So, following this logically, then wouldn't you say that the cops are dealing with a lot of fucking shit in these neighborhoods?
I would say that the cops actually add to the crime. They frustrate the people and make them even more.
I think you got some
more crime.
I think you got some blinders on there, sir.
I know you guys are not going to believe it. If you get the right people to call into your show, and I mean black people from that, that live in that type of strife, then you would see that I am not making shit up.
I don't think I've heard it from too many black guys I know. Too many black guys I know, like guys who are not violent guys, although, some of them are. But I'm just thinking of two examples of comedians I know, one who does fight the police and one who doesn't.
I know one name.
But they tell kind of the same story about, getting pulled over. Like Chris Rock was Instagramming photos 3 separate times he was getting pulled over. And it's like, is there something to that? As a white guy, I don't see it. But obviously it happens enough because enough different black guys have told me, like, you have no idea what it is on this end. So
there's obviously something to it, but Chris, I don't think you're being honest. There's a lot of crime that is going on in these neighborhoods.
The point is,
it's a lot more police activity, which means there's a lot more chances for something to go horribly wrong.
Cops are killing black people weekly, and it's on video, and no one gives a fuck about.
Well, I don't know about that. I think a lot of people give a fuck. I think a lot of people give a fuck, and a lot of people that don't.
Maybe if they weren't criminals, maybe if they were educated, they would. It's happening everywhere.
I think more people care than you. I think more people care than you think.
Way more care than you think. When they were marching, hold on, please. When they were marching here in New York City, I could only talk from that perspective. And we went down to the street because they were actually marching right by our building on the West Side Highway. There were a lot of people protesting and marching that do not live in these neighborhoods. Okay.
And you even said on your show that half of those people don't care. And you're probably right.
Well, there's certainly an element that
for selfies, just for
right.
experience.
But you are right about that. But even if half don't care, there were still a shitload of people out there. You are right for calling me out on that.
You said.
Huh?
And I wasn't calling you out on it. Don't get me wrong.
I
really believe.
But I forgot I said that, and you're right. You're right. I did say that there are people that are opportunists going, oh, look, hey, we can march on the West Side Highway and take selfies. You're right. I mean, that's got to be added to this. You're right.
I was involved in the protest when I was walking in the Comedy Cellar. I parked the car. I got out. I literally saw the line go, and I'm like, okay, this traffic. And then I heard bongo drums. And I was like, okay, cool. It's mostly white people. And I went down. It was a bunch of college students. There were some black people, too.
Right.
But it was like the Michael Brown thing. And I marched for like 3 blocks and then went left on West 3rd Street and went to the Comedy Cellar. But yeah, a lot of them were there just because it's a cultural event. Like, hey, it's a thing happening, and I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys one question? I will leave you alone. I'm going after this.
Sure.
One question. Can you please just say it? That cops are murdering black people, and they're getting away with it. They're coming up with excuses. Oh, it was a chokehold. Oh, this kid stole a pop from the store. There's always some excuse. But they are murdering black people, and they're getting away with it, and it's happening weekly. And it's not even summer yet. Well, oh, God, wait till the summer.
It certainly is happening. What percentage of cops are doing this? I keep going back to that. Because I think most cops, the majority of cops certainly don't want to, get into any fucking situations. They want to go home to their families at the end of the fucking day. Oh, the police brutality motion graphic that Kenny sent me. Yeah, we're going to put that on our Facebook page. Why so much police brutality? Is it just a graphic, Sam, or do they talk through it?
They talk.
They do talk?
Yeah, they give
All
you
right, listen to this. Where are you? Did you he hung up on us.
Oh, maybe he was just done.
Okay. We'll play this for the people. Why so much police brutality?
Based on recent media attention, one might wonder, what's with all the police violence? Are the police out of control? Are there any honest cops left? As of 2012, there were 313,910,000 people living within the U.S. For that same year, the FBI projects that there were just over 670,000 sworn peace officers. This equates to being less than 2.5 peace officers for every 1,000 people. So our peace officers represent less than a 1/4% of the population.
This is long. We can't watch this whole thing. What is it
It's kind of interesting, but it's definitely interesting. But I don't know why the guy can't pronounce police if he's making a video called police brutality. Did you hear how he's saying it? Anyone else?
I didn't even.
All right, now it's getting driving nuts when you hear it. Go back slightly. Yeah, it's a quick video. It's another 2 minutes.
So our peace officers represent less than a 1/4% of the population. And in the performance...
I think he's saying peace officers.
Oh, he's saying peace officer.
Okay, all right. I thought
he's not saying police then.
I really thought he was saying police officer.
Oh,
okay,
no.
peace officers.
Yeah.
All right.
So their duties will come into contact with about 17% of the population and then subsequently arrest less than 4% of the population. And that's assuming that no single person was arrested more than once that given year. Now, as excessive force complaints can come from anyone, let's actually focus in on the scope of officer contacts. So in a year's time, 670,000 cops had contact with over 53 million citizens. These contacts could be anything from being pulled over, issued a citation, given a warning, interviewed as a witness, requesting a service, involved in a collision, reporting a crime, witnessed a police action, victim of a crime, disabled motorist, consensual encounter, or even being arrested. Of all those millions of contacts, the Bureau of Justice Statistics last identified that 26,000 complaints were made due to excessive force. This is not quite half of 0.1% of all police contacts. Of those complaints, only 8% were sustained, having any form of merit or evidence. That'd be 2,080 sustained complaints, or 0.0039% of all law enforcement contacts. To put things in perspective, in the same time frame, 84,376 people in the U.S. reported being forcibly raped. 30,800 were killed in traffic collisions. and 14,827 were murdered. So in regards to true excessive force by the police, you are 7 times more likely to be murdered, 15 times more likely to be killed in the burning wreck that used to be your car, and 42 times more likely to be raped. Probably not by a cop.
There you go. I hope there's no quiz, Kenny. Okay, no quiz. So...
I think the problem is not I think that's obviously very true, and
right.
We all know that it's not a thing that most cops are doing. I think the problem is that when it does happen, in those cases where it does happen, people don't like the way it's handled, or they feel like it's not handled properly. And there's sometimes where the neighborhoods are totally wrong, where the cop was justified and the guy was threatening him, whether you believe he was or not.
You're right.
But then there are the times where the cop reacted wrong.
Right.
And I think if people felt like the police were... in that tiny percentage of times where the cops are really fucked up, if they were dealt with this, like, hey man, you were really fucked up and either fired or went to jail for a murder, I think people would look at it like it was a little bit more even-handed, because I'm sure that that's correct.
Right, exactly. Let me say hi to Phil in North Carolina. Phil.
Hey, Opie and Jim.
Good morning.
I just wanted to say that the big part of this problem that no one's talking about is the attitude that we take towards law enforcement in general. We feel that we should be putting a lot of people in prison for a lot of things that they probably should not go to prison for. The war on drugs is a complete failure. This guy was a crack dealer. There should have been a legitimate business that's selling drugs somewhere so people who want drugs can buy them. And, I mean, we have more people in prison per capita than any place in the world. More men report being raped each year in the United States than women, because we have so many people in...
I don't believe that. I don't believe more men report being raped, unless you're counting just in jail.
Well...
Yeah, there's not...
Unless you're counting only in prison.
No, I'm saying in the whole country. A lot of that is because many women don't report being raped. And, we saw it like in...
So hold on.
Cosby.
Are you saying more men are raped a year, or more police reports are filed by men who've been claimed to be raped than women? I don't buy that.
Yeah, there's no way that's true.
I don't believe it.
That might not be true. It's something that I've heard for a long time.
Well, it's not. Does that make sense to you? Like, more men report being raped?
Yeah, because we have a ton of people in a prison system where...
I have a little less mercy for prisoners.
And it's pretty much condoned by society that if you go to prison, you're going to get raped. It's so funny.
I don't really care as much about, and again, maybe this sounds awful, but about prison. I mean, because I'm not there. But let's say, like, with citizens who are not in prison, let's talk about that. I think that, when you put jail stats in, maybe, but...
Right, that's inflating the numbers.
On that, and that's not really the point. The point is that we have way too many people in prison for... minor things, like they wanted to arrest Eric Garner for selling a cigarette or whatever.
Well, hold on, let me ask you.
They should have just given him a ticket.
I'll tell you why you're incorrect about that, because the business owners I'm not saying Eric Garner should have died. He shouldn't have.
Of course not.
But the business owners called and said, this guy is constantly interfering with our business, and can you come and move and do something? And they had been there many times with this guy. They had a lot of... I'm not saying, again, he should have been choked, even though he didn't die technically from the choke. But that guy was asked by the business owners, the police, they asked the police to come.
He was a nuisance in that area.
And he was bothering their business. So if you have a business and this guy's standing outside selling loose cigarettes, would you want the cops to remove him if you said this guy's selling something illegal?
Yeah, I probably would, but... you have to look at it as like, is that worth taking somebody to prison for?
Well, if you have to,
just what a business owner wants, because businesses don't run the country. I mean, the police have to serve society and do what's best for the society.
But he was doing something illegal.
Not necessarily doing whatever the business owner wants.
He was doing something illegal,
and it's a big leap that he was going to go to actual prison. They were going to bring him.
Go ahead.
He wasn't going to go to prison for that. They were going to arrest him. He was probably going to go. He was probably going to go to jail for a bit, and then whatever. But he wasn't going to go to prison in the end for that one.
Okay.
There's no way he was going to.
Look at how many people we have in prison. I mean, can you pull up the stats on that?
There's a lot of people in prison, sir, and you're right. Some of them shouldn't be there. The minor drug offenses. I don't have any mercy for a crack dealer who's in jail, and I don't think legalizing hardcore drugs like cocaine and heroin is the answer. I think you're wrong about that. But the people for minor pot offenses and stuff. There's a comedian named Randy Credico, who I don't know. I'm sure he would hate me because he's a very, very liberal guy and he would find me repulsive. But he fights to get a lot of those guys out of jail. Guys who are like 3-time losers and pot was their third one. Guys who are doing law. There are people who do not belong in prison because it's just stupid drug offenses that are nonviolent.
I agree. But I think if someone's addicted to drugs, that should be a medical situation. That I don't think they belong in.
Well, I agree, and I think being addicted to drugs is different than standing on the corner. I think most people are on the corner for selling or in jail for selling them, not being addicted to them.
Of course.
Or for doing something under the influence of them.
Yeah, of course. All right,
Do
Phil.
you believe that alcohol should be legal?
Of course, you have to let it be legal, dude. Just because there are people that have a problem with it. Most people don't, and it causes a lot of deaths and a lot of whatever, but prohibition was also a problem.
And that's exactly what is still a problem, is prohibition of other drugs. It's doing the same thing, only to other people.
How many drunk driving deaths a year are there? There's a lot. How many domestic violence things are there because, guys get drunk and beat up their wives or whatever it is? We still have it legal. Add cocaine and heroin and methamphetamine and all that stuff to it, you're going to have a lot more fucking problems. Because the problem isn't that people don't drunk drive because it's, the thrill of it being illegal. If it was legal, they wouldn't drunk drive. I mean, come on, man. People are plowing into people all the time.
Right.